Okay, so today we are gonna learn e-commerce applications. In this lecture, we will understand the principles of e-commerce, in which we'll discuss in detail that what is e-commerce, features of e-commerce, advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce, traditional commerce versus e-commerce, and moving on further, we'll discuss e-commerce models and what is the difference between e-commerce and e-business. So before learning principles of e-commerce or anything else, we have to know that what is e-commerce. E-commerce or electronic commerce is a methodology of modern business which addresses the requirement of business organization. It can broadly be defined as process of buying or selling of goods services using an electronic medium such as internet. Like we have many e-commerce sites in Pakistan or even in Saudi. Draz here in Pakistan, Draz is most popular. It is an example of e-commerce site. People sell their goods, and whoever needs it, they buy their products. So this is an e-commerce model. E-commerce or electronic commerce is a methodology of modern business which addresses the need of business organizations, vendors, and customers to reduce cost and improve the quality of goods and services while increasing the speed of delivery. E-commerce refers to the paperless exchange of business information using the following ways. Electronic data exchange. It means we can exchange data electronically, whatever the data is. Electronic mail, email. You all know that what is email. Electronic bulletin boards, electronic fund transfers like internet bank transfer, and other network technologies. Here is the graphical representation of that. Like if we have electronic document, we can transfer it, we can interchange our information using that. It is also called e-commerce. If we are electronically publishing anything, like we are marketing, we are selling something, we are providing customer support, it is also a form of e-commerce. Email or fax is also a form of e-commerce. With that, if you are sharing information with others using electronic mediums, so it is also the form of e-commerce. So basically, e-commerce is a methodology of modern business. In short, do you understand this,
Yes, sir.
everyone?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving onward, here are some features of e-commerce. E-commerce provides the following features. I'll explain each one in detail. The first one is non-cash payment. E-commerce enables the use of credit cards, debit cards, smart cards, electronic fund transfer via bank website or wire transfer, and other modes of electronic payment. So whenever we use any these modes, it will be counted as non-cash payment. I mean, we are not dealing with physical currency here. We pay using our credit card numbers, debit card numbers. So it is a non-cash payment. It is a feature of e-commerce. The next feature is 24/7 service availability. E-commerce automates the business of enterprises and the way they provide service to their customer. It is available anytime or everywhere. It means that whenever you want to shop, whenever you want to buy something, you can buy online anytime. It doesn't matter if it is in the evening or it is in the morning. The third feature of e-commerce is advertising and marketing. E-commerce increases the reach of advertising of products and services of businesses. It helps in better marketing management of product services. Means that we can advertise our products if we have our e-commerce store or we are selling anything online. We can advertise our product online. We don't have to buy any physical space or billboards or etc. We can advertise it on any social media or using emails, etc. The next feature is improved sales. Using e-commerce, orders for the product can be generated anytime, anywhere without any human intervention. It gives a boost to existing sale volumes. It means that if you are running any store physically, you might not getting that much boost. You cannot reach outer market, or you are limited to your certain area. But with the e-commerce, you can improve your sale by reaching other markets. The next feature is support. E-commerce provides various ways to provide pre-sale and post-sale assistance to provide better services to customers. Support is also considered as a main feature of e-commerce because even if you want to get some knowledge before buying that product, you can ask their support about that particular product. Or if you have bought that product, you are not getting how to use it, you can still ask their support. Or if there is any error with issue with that product, you can call their support and you can easily refund or whatever your case is. The next is inventory management. E-commerce automates inventory management. Reports get generated instantly when required. Product inventory management become very efficient and easy to maintain. Means like if we have our manual store or physical store, we have to keep inventory of every item or product. But if we are using e-commerce, so reports are generated automatically. When a sale is created, sale is done, so it will create its report that includes customer name, address, telephone number, etc. You don't have to put them manually. The next feature is communication improvement. E-commerce provides ways for faster, efficient, reliable communication with customers and partners. It means that if we are using e-commerce, we can easily communicate with our customers. We can communicate with our dealers, and also we can communicate our business partners. So e-commerce made our communication very easy. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any query?
Sure, sir.
No, sir. No queries, sir.
No,
No.
sir.
Okay, good. Next, we are going to discuss the advantages of e-commerce. There are three categories who take advantages from this e-commerce. Advantages to organization, advantages to consumers, and advantages to society. Now, advantages to organizations. Using e-commerce, organization can expand their market to national and international market with minimum capital investment. It means that if they are using e-commerce, they can easily expand their market from national to international markets. But if you have physical store, it is very hectic for you to get to cover other markets. E-commerce helps organization to reduce the cost to create, process, distribute, retrieve, and manage the paper-based information by digitizing the information. When using e-commerce model, we are digitizing our information that reduce the cost of process to distribute and retrieve and manage our information. E-commerce improve the brand image of the company. By using e-commerce, we can easily market our brand, so it will improve our brand name or company name. E-commerce help organization to provide better customer services. Using e-commerce, organization can provide uh, services, better services to their customer. E-commerce helps to simplify the business processes and make them faster and efficient. Using e-commerce, we can simplify our business process. We can deliver our products fastly and efficiently. And the next one is e-commerce reduces the paperwork. Definitely, e-commerce reduce paperwork for the organizations. There will every record is maintained in system, so there will be no need of paperwork. E-commerce increases the productivity of an organization. Everything will be automated, so productivity of an organization definitely gonna be increased because there will be no manual work left. These are the some advantages to organizations. Next, what are the advantages to customers? For customers, e-commerce, it provides 24/7 support. Customer can inquire about a product or services and place order anytime, anywhere from any location. Using e-commerce, any customer can inquire about product even before purchasing them or after purchasing them, and he can place order anytime from anywhere in the world. E-commerce application provide users with more option and quicker deliveries of product. In physical or manual store, mostly users don't have many options. They have to select from that very limited stock. But in e-commerce, the user have many options. If you don't like one product from one store, you can get it from other e-commerce store. So user have many options. E-commerce application provide user with more option to compare and select the cheaper and better options. E-commerce also gives you the option to compare the products and select the cheaper one or better one according to your budget or according to your requirements. After that, a customer can review about a product, and he can also see that what others are buying, and he can see the comments of other customer before making final purchase. Like if for example, if you are going to purchase anything, for example computer, so you can check the reviews of other customers, that how they have reviewed or what their comments, then you can make your mind that it's okay, now I can purchase it from here. E-commerce, using e-commerce, we can virtually auction our things, our products. After that, it provides available information. Customer can see the relevant detailed information within seconds. If you want to get any information in detail for some particular product, you can get that information within seconds. You don't have to wait for days or weeks. So it is also an advantage. Moving onward, e-commerce increases the competition among organizations. As a result, organization provides substantial discounts to customers. In today's world, e-commerce competition is going very high. So most of the stores or e-commerce organizations provide many discount vouchers to their customers. So we can, as a customer, we can utilize that vouchers or discounts. So it is an advantage for customer. Now, what are the advantages to society? As a society, or it is basic comes to customers, where customers not need to travel to shop a product, thus less traffic on road and low air pollution. Definitely, when we don't have to go to when we don't have to go to shop, so there will be less traffic on the road and there will be low air pollution and noise pollution also. It helps reduce the cost of products, so most people can afford the products, as they are I have mentioned in previous slide that there is a competition between organizations. So every organization tries that customer comes to their store, so they offer many discounts, so many people can afford their products. E-commerce has enabled rural areas to access services and products which are otherwise not available to them. E-commerce also provide access to that areas where one cannot consider to be to go or to be accessed. And e-commerce helps the government to deliver public services such as healthcare, education, social service at a very minimal cost and in improved manner. Like in COVID, mostly universities or colleges or even healthcare institutes uh, become online for their services, like you are taking this online class, so it is an advantage. Now moving onward, we have some disadvantages of e-commerce. It can be classified into two categories: technical disadvantages and non-technical disadvantages. Now, what are the technical disadvantages of e-commerce? There can be lack of system security. It means that if your system is not that much secure, reliable, or not up to that standard, so it might be very poor. Your e-commerce will be poorly implemented. So it is a disadvantage that your system lacks security or reliability. So user will never come back to your store. The software development industry is still evolving and keeps changing rapidly. It is also a disadvantage because as the new softwares are coming, the previous one getting old and not up to that standard, so you have to keep changing your software. So technically it is a disadvantage. In many countries, network bandwidth might cause an issue. In many countries, including Pakistan, we have network bandwidth issue, which can be problematic when our store or site gets slow. So when a user come first time, if he saw that our site is very slow, he will never come back. Special types of web service or other software might be required by the vendor setting the e-commerce environment apart from networks. Sometimes you need special types of web services or softwares, like for if you want to set up your store or using WordPress, so you have to get WooCommerce software, which is a special software. So if you don't have technical knowledge about that, you cannot implement it. So this one is also a technical disadvantage. Sometimes it becomes very difficult to integrate an e-commerce software or website with the existing applications or databases. It means if you have already running some website or some application or database, and you want to integrate e-commerce software on it, that database might not be compatible with your e-commerce software, or your previous application might not be compatible with that software. So it can be another technical disadvantage. There could be software hardware compatibility issues, as some e-commerce software may be incompatible with some operating system or any other components. Like if you WooCommerce is not latest WooCommerce is not compatible with previous PHP version or previous softwares. Similarly, if you have point of sale hardware and you are using some older software, so they might not be compatible with each other. So the technical disadvantages of e-commerce. Are these points clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, moving onward. Now, here are some non-technical disadvantages. The first one is initial cost. Initial cost means cost of creating or building your e-commerce application. The initial cost might be very high, or if you make any mistake, there can be delay in your launching e-commerce application, or if you are inexperienced, then it might cost you very much. The next non-technical disadvantage is user resistance. As you have started new business, so user might not trust your site because your site is unknown to them. So if you have not created a trust, you have not gained the trust of your user. So user might resist to come to your site again. So such mistakes make it difficult to convince traditional user to switch from physical store to online. So it is very necessary to gain user trust. The next one is security or privacy. It is very difficult to ensure the security or privacy of online transactions. Even though the latest systems are very secure, but one cannot guarantee it. Lack of touch or feel of products during sorry, lack of touch or feel of product during online shopping is a drawback. It is a drawback, but definitely if you are purchasing online, you cannot touch that product, you cannot feel that. So it is non-technical disadvantage. E-commerce applications are still evolving and changing rapidly. Because of this rapid change and evolving, you have to keep your system up to date. So this is a disadvantage. Internet access is still not cheaper and is inconvenient to use for many potential customers, for example, those living in remote villages. There are many places in this world where internet still not accessible, or even if it is accessible, it is not cheaper. So it is also a disadvantage, as if you launch your store or your e-commerce product in that area where internet is expensive or not accessible, that you might lose your store. So these are some non-technical advantages. Now we are going to discuss traditional commerce versus e-commerce. There are some differences between traditional commerce, like physical one, and e-commerce, electronic commerce. Now, traditional commerce is heavily dependent on information exchange from person to person. In traditional commerce, information is exchanged from person to person. Mean if I bought something from that store, I will guide another person that that store is better. You can shop from there. But in e-commerce, information sharing is made easy via electronic communication channels, making a little dependency on person-to-person information exchange. While in e-commerce, your information is shared via social media or other electronic communication channel, so everyone get to know your store very easily, or your store's data will communicate very easily. In traditional commerce, communication transactions are done in synchronous way. Manual intervention is required for each communication or transaction. It means that whenever you communicate or you make transaction with some other, it is in synchronous way. It means that it is in that real time. Data is exchanging in real time. But on the other hand, when we are using e-commerce, communication or transaction can be done a synchronous way, the whole process is completely automated. So we don't have to manually, we don't need to do anything manually. All of the process is automated. Once you complete your order, the payment will be processed, deducted from your bank account or your card, whatever, and it will go to that customer, um, shop's account. So all the process is automated. In traditional commerce, it is very difficult to establish and maintain standard practices, but in e-commerce, uniform strategy can be easily established and maintained. It means that if you are using some strategy to market your product, like you are promoting your e-commerce using Facebook or Instagram, you can use it and you can get customer on daily basis. But in traditional commerce, you have very limited market audience, very limited customers. So you have a limited area to cover. So even if you are marketing using person to person, so you only cover that specific area. In traditional commerce, communication of business depends upon individual skills. Means if you are communication skills are good, you can communicate, you can uh, deal with your customers, so your store will progress. This is what e-commerce, traditional commerce is. But in e-commerce, there is no human intervention. You can simply market your product on Facebook or Instagram. So your customer will come to your store, buy your product. You will not have to directly deal him. All the system will be automated. Traditional commerce, unavailability of a uniform platform, because it is heavily dependent on personal communication. While on the other hand, e-commerce provides the user a platform where all the information is available at one place. Means when we are dealing with in traditional commerce, there is not a uniform platform available. You might hear something from one person, and if on the other day some other person can tell you something else. But on the website, you can get all the information and same information at one place. In traditional, no uniform platform for information sharing, as it depends heavily on personal communication. It means that there is not specific platform for information sharing, that what product that store have or what he is going to bring in his store. It is depend on his personal communication. But in e-commerce, it provides a platform to support customer commercial business activities across the globe. Like if you browse some store, you get to know that they have the product, their quantity is mentioned there, their detail is all detail is mentioned there. So you have access to their information. But in traditional, it is not like that. In traditional, you have to go to store physically and you have to inquire that if you have that particular product, how many items you have, and you have to get other details manually. While on the other hand, e-commerce, you can get it from their websites, number of items, their details, everything you can get from there. So these are some e-commerce differences between traditional commerce and e-commerce. Now coming to e-commerce models, there are some e-commerce models which can be as follows: business to business model, business to consumer model, and consumer to business model, business to government model, and government to business model, and the last one is government to citizen model. The first one is business to business model. Business to business model is that where a wholesaler places an order from a company website or everyone who is making that product. Okay, so it means that a website following the B2B business model sells its product to an intermediate buyer who then sells the product to the final customer. It means that whose wholesaler is getting their order from the company. When wholesaler is placing order from a company, it means wholesaler is also a business entity and company is also a business entity. So this model is called business to business model. And then again, wholesaler is the one who sell further to their final customers or retail outlets. Are you clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll start the class again because time is over. So,
Yes, sir.
recording. So we are discussing the business to business model in which there are two business entities dealing with one another. Like a wholesaler places an order from a company's website, and after receiving the consignment, it sells an product to the retail outlet or the final customer. So wholesaler is a business entity and the company is a business entity. So when both business entities are dealing with each other, it is called business to business or B2B model. This is the graphical representation of B2B model. Like a wholesaler orders from the company's website and or business organization or company. So it will supplies the material or supplies to this wholesaler and then wholesaler sells it to customer. This is the business to business model. The next one is business to customer model. It is a business model in which a business directly sell its product to a customer. A customer can view the product shown on the website. The customer can choose a product and order the same. The website will then send a notification to business organization via email or their website, whatever their medium is, and they will dispatch the product to customer. It is simply like you are open the and order something from there. So this is the business to consumer model. It means that customer is directly dealing with business. So here is the graphical representation of this model that customers order from website and that website supplies the material to customer. In the previous model, we have discussed business to business, in which business organization supplies the to wholesaler, but here it supplies to customer. So it is called business to consumer model. Next one is consumer to consumer model, where a customer or a consumer is selling their products to another consumer. Like it is you take example of OLX, where a consumer uploads its product and other consumer buy its product. It is called C2C model. C2C business model helps consumer to sell their assets like residential property, car, motorcycles, etc., or rent a room by publishing their information on the website. Some websites charge, some website may not charge the consumer for its services. So this type of business model is called consumer to consumer model. Here is the graphical representation. Customer one who wants to sell his product, he places advertisement on website, and customer two who wants to buy product, he buys the product of customer one's product. So they will receive money or receive products, they exchange through customer to customer dealing. So it is called consumer to consumer model. The next one is consumer to business model. In this model, a consumer sells its product to some business organization. A consumer approaches a website showing multiple business organizations for a particular service. The consumer places an estimate of amount she wants to spend for a particular service. For example, the comparison of interest rates of personal loan, car loan provided by various banks via website. A business organization who fulfill the customer's requirement with the specified budget approach the customer and provide it services. It means like if some company needs your services individually or need some product, or you are going to sell your product to that company or that business, then this model is called consumer to business model. Freelancing, when we do freelancing on Fiverr or Upwork, it is an example of consumer to business. If you create some logo for a company, so you are providing your services to that business. So that will be called consumer to business model. Here is the graphical representation that a business organization who needs something will advertise on website, then customer will pays his amount, like if he charge $8 per hour or something on that website. So then this business organization who needs some services, he contact that customer and they'll deal. So this model is called consumer to business model.
Sir, can you give me another example so I can understand better?
Consumer to business model.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's like that if some company in your specific area, he needs some services, like he need plumber service. So someone from your area gave them plumber services. So this model is basically the consumer to business model, that he individually provides his services to that business or that company for some particular amount of money. So this model, this is called the consumer to business model, where an individual provides its services to some business or some company. Do you understand?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, I'll give you another example. Like consider that I am some company and I ask you to provide me services for graphic designing or logo. I want you to design a logo for me. So when you design a logo for me and you will charge me for that logo, so that service which you are providing to me, that will be called consumer to business, because I am a business, I am a company, I am taking your service for some amount of money. So that model of business will be called consumer to business model.
Okay, sir, got it.
Right. Moving onward, next one is business to government model. Business to government model is a business model in which government advertise some work, like if government needs some work to do and different business organizations contact government that they provide that specific services, so it is called business to government services. The example of this model here is like WAPDA or any other organization in Pakistan. If he needs some services, for example, they need to renew their infrastructure or something, so they tender they advertise their offer in newspaper, then they have tender, then different business organizations offer that renewal services. In that process, when some business organization is selected for that specific service and he provides that service to the government organization, so that model is called business to government model, where a business entity providing its services to government. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now government to business. It is the opposite of previous model. Here, government is providing some services to businesses. Like now government have given many subsidies to different business organizations. So government is basically facilitating that business organization. It will be called government to business model. Now government to citizen model. In this model, government directly dealing with citizens or provide their services to citizens, like auctions of vehicle, machinery, or any other material. Mostly government organizations do auction of their machineries and vehicles, and normal citizens will take part in that auctions. So this model is called government to citizen, where government is selling their services directly to citizens. Do you understand?
In this, they won't be using any business, like they won't be bringing any business organization in the middle, right?
Sorry, I didn't get your point. Can you repeat it? I didn't get your point.
In this, they won't be bringing any business organization in the middle. Is that what it means?
Yes, there will no business organization. It is directly government dealing with their citizens. Like they are auctioning something. So when they auction, a normal citizen would take part in that auction. So citizens are dealing directly with government.
Understood, sir.
Okay. So these are some models of e-commerce, and this is sorry, this is for the models. Now we will discuss the difference between e-commerce and e-business. The main difference which is between e-commerce and e-business, that e-commerce mostly deals with transactional activities like selling or buying. So it is e-commerce refers to the performing online commercial activities transaction over internet. It includes the activity like buying and selling products, making monetary transactions being which is making money over the internet. So internet is used for e-commerce. Websites and applications are required for e-commerce. It is mainly connected with the end process of domains connected with the end customers. It means when a company is offering the e-commerce services, he has some store or whatever, it is offering the services to the end user or end customer. Examples of e-commerce are online retailers like Amazon, Flipkart, and other online sellers. On e-commerce, using e-commerce, we are performing the following activities. We can buy and sell products online. We can book on tickets online. We can pay online, and we can pay taxes online. Online accounting softwares and online customer support. It comes into e-commerce. Now, what is e-business? E-business is like performing all type of business activities using internet, like ERP, CRM, even if you are managing your company online, you have thousands of employees, so you are managing them online, so it will be e-business. It is not e-commerce. E-business is to manage your business activities through internet. If you are running your store physically and you have 100 number of employees, and you are managing that employees using e-resources or electrical resources, so it will be e-business. Example of e-business are classified sites and some auction sites, hardware developers, etc. Basically, in e-business, we are dealing with our own business and we are managing our own business activities through internet. So, sorry, activities or sorry, it is not e-commerce, it is e-business. Online store setup, customer education, buying and selling products, supply chain management, and email marketing. These are the activities of e-business, not e-commerce. It is on. I'll change it in lecture. So here are some differences between, this is just a definition, and here are some differences between e-commerce and e-business. E-commerce refers to the performing online commercial activities transaction over internet. It means that whenever you are performing online commercial activities over internet, it will be referred as e-commerce. While e-business refers to performing all type of business activities through internet. It means that every type of business activities, managing your business, whatever, if you're doing through internet, it will be called e-business. E-commerce is a narrow concept and is considered as a subset of e-business. E-commerce is a branch or subset of e-business. E-business is a broad concept and it is considered a superset of e-commerce. You can consider e-business as a superset of or parent set of e-commerce. So it means that e-commerce is derived from e-business. Commercial transactions are carried out in e-commerce. In e-commerce, commercial transactions are carried out. Commercial transactions, sorry, again. In e-commerce, transactions are limited, and in e-business, transactions are not limited. It includes activity like buying and selling products, making monetary transactions, etc. When we are buying and selling products or making any monetary transaction over internet, it will be called e-commerce. And e-business includes activity like procurement of raw material, customer education, supplying activities, or making monetary transactions, or even if you are managing your assets, etc., it will be e-business. E-commerce covers outward external business process. It means you are not dealing with internal, or you are not dealing with your own business internal process. But in e-business, you are dealing with your internal business activities. It usually requires the use of only a website. In e-commerce, we only need website, whereas in e-business, we need websites, CRM. CRM means customer relation management system, ERPs, interrelation programs that connect the different business processes. In e-commerce, it involves mandatory use of internet. It means that internet is must for e-commerce. And in e-business, we can use internet, intranet, or extranet. Internet is the net we are using, and intranet, internet between a business entity, a single business. For example, if a bank has a branch in this one city and it is connected to the same branch, same bank in the other city, so it will be intranet. Or extranet is when two businesses are connected via internet. It is called extranet. So, last one is e-commerce is more appropriate in business to customer context. It means that in e-commerce, mostly there is a business to customer dealing, but in e-business, there is business to business dealing. That is for today's lecture. If you have any query, you can ask. No query?
No query, sir.
No, sir, but
Query.
I will go over it again and maybe next class I'll ask you questions if I have.
Okay, good. So that is for now. Take care. Allah Hafiz.